Okay. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, I am Teensy's King. This is Spyro: A Hero's Tale, the 5th console Spyro game. It's a little different from the previous 4, but I'll explain that in a little bit. I would probably be giving you a little quick, here's what's happening for the storyline, but this game has unskippable cutscenes, and they're kind of often. So, in a little bit, the professor will just go through and tell you everything that's happened so far. Oh, no. So the big red dragon is named Red. He is an evil dragon elder, but Professor.
I'm sure you forgot about it.
No.
I thought he was long gone. It looks like he's been mining dark gems and planting them all over the realms. He's even got Nest, Dark, and his minions doing all this dirty work.
Next door. Didn't I defeat that guy years ago? Huh. What are dark gems? Questions.
So many questions. Dark gems are the life-bringing stones that fuel Red's evil power. If you're going to stop Red, you'll have to find out more about it and destroy all the dark gems. But first, go and see Moneybags. He usually has something worthwhile. Good luck, Spyro. Now I'll unlock that door so you can... Oh, Spyro.
So the first thing you may notice if you have played previous Spyro games is that I am collecting a lot of gems in a very short amount of time. And this is because gems are used for a different purpose than previous games. In previous games, they were more of a collectible set number throughout the entire game. But here, we use them to buy items from Moneybags. The main use is to buy keys, which are used to open doors in this one cake, or to open chests. The other 2 things we buy with the gems are little teleport things so we can go between Moneybags shops, and an extra health unit before the 3rd boss.
That seems excessively destructive.
So what Zoe's telling Spyro here is that each time he gets zapped, the game is saved, and he loses 1,000,000 brain cells. So this game has a lot of autosaves from Zoe, like here. So Spyro's going to be very stupid by the end of the game. This is the first Elder we meet, Elder Tomas. He's giving us a little more backstory into Red and what we need to do.
Elder like myself, I'd tell you the whole story, but I know that I'd take a really long time to tell the story.
So
How about I just tell you how to destroy Dr.
James instead. Close one.
Yeah, do that.
To destroy Dark Gems, you should use your horn dive.
So the Elder just told us how to destroy the Dark Gems, use the horn dive, but he doesn't actually tell Spyro how to do the horn dive. He just says, use it. So coming up is the first skip. By doing a precise double jump off that black box, pretty much, we can skip going around this area and learning how to double jump and glide. So the reason we need to do this is to collect what's called a dragonite. Hunter will open the next area for us, but only if we get this dragonite. It's kind of weird, but then again, so is Hunter. So when we talk to Hunter here, he's going to open the next gate for us.
Spyro, you managed to find the dragon.
But as you can see with his bow, it doesn't actually have a string. So Hunter just pulls the arrow back and it magically flies forward by the power of Hunter's brain, apparently. And here's where we learn about the other collectible of the game.
This is an activation pad for my latest invention. The ball gadget. Of course, to operate it, you need to collect 8 power stars.
Power stars? Never even heard of those.
Power stars.
How about red coins?
No.
No.
Hot
pieces. Gold tokens. I like to know, Spyro. What exactly do you need to collect?
Light gems?
Fine.
8 light gems.
Anyway, off you go. I'll open the door to the nursery for you. Once you have the light gems, approach the pad, and the ball gadget will automatically activate.
So this cutscene is probably one of the scariest part of the early run. If you move or dash too quickly coming out of the cutscene, Spyro's head will lock in position at a very strange angle. It's aimed up and to the right, and that actually changes the hitbox for the charge and the position of the flame. So luckily that didn't happen, so I don't have to go back and kill myself to fix it. So you'll notice throughout the run, for smaller jumps, I'll just do a single jump instead of a double jump or a double jump glide, because those just take more time. One other thing that's a little different from other Spyro games is that this one is more open world and explore to find the other worlds. So right now we are in the Dragon Village, on the Dragon Village realm, and soon we will be finding Crocodile Swamp, the second level of this world.
Spyro, you found the secret entrance to my lab. I'm busy right now, so let me show you the not-so-secret exit.
So this time we went into the professor's lab. he decided to actually open the door before Spyro could just charge through it. I forgot to mention this the first time we went through, but that is Ember. She's another dragon, probably about Spyro's age. In this game, she has a huge crush on Spyro, but in the only other game she is in, Spyro: A Shadow Legacy, she ends up falling in love with an armadillo. Yeah. So this is essentially the loading zone to get to the next area, but they try to keep it a little more interactive.
Hello, Spyro. This is a remote shop. You can get things here for the same price you will get in the main shop. Plus shipping, destination charge, convenience fee, and teleport taxis. Be shopping!
So here we get the first remote shop pad. The big shop that you saw in Dragon Village is one of the 4 main shops, one for each realm, and then each other level generally has 2 to 3 remote shop pads for quick transformation. So each time I destroy one of the dark gems, it will generally open up new paths in the immediate area. So this one opened up this side area to get a light gem, and if I jump down, a dragon egg. But dragon eggs are completely useless in the run. And we just need the light gems to power the professor's inventions. One thing I forgot to mention at the beginning is that this is going to be a glitchless run. The wheel category is 40 dark gems, but I just like glitchless more for this game. The normal any percent run has very recently become more of a boss rush. At the beginning of most of the realms, there's a fairly quick clip to get to each of the bosses. So I am not dying on purpose right here, but over here is another light gem. When charging with Spyro, like after a jump, he doesn't always have the best perception of the ground, so he sometimes just bonks into it. One other weird thing is that sometimes when making a slight adjustment, he will, instead of turning a little bit, he will do almost a 360 in the other direction.
Spyro, Spyro. If you've got money to spend, I am here.
So here we meet the second Elder, Elder Magnus.
Spyro, darling, you'll need to learn as much as you can to help you in your quest to find Red. I don't know anything about Red. The professor said he was someone from the past. Who is he and what did he do? Oh, such a story. How much time do you have, sweetheart? Red was part of the Order of Dragon Elders until his jealousy and hunger for power led him to try and overthrow our leader. I'm afraid that's all I can tell you. I've no confidence, you know. But before you leave, I will teach you how to pole spin. Now, to pole spin, jump onto the pole to swing over to the next pole or dismount.
So each of the elders in this game will give Spyro a new ability. Tomas gave the horn dive, Magnus gives this, the pole spin, and we skipped the third one and we're required to get to the fourth. So here we meet Blink the Mole.
Thanks for rescuing me, Spyro. My name's Blink.
Along with Blink, there's also Sergeant Bird,
I must know every other mole in the world.
Sparks minigames, and Spyro turret minigames. We don't actually do any minigames because there are two difficulties. The first one, you get a dragon egg, so useless. And then after you beat that one, you unlock the harder difficulty, which will get you a light gem. It's just that all the minigames are extremely slow. So here we meet Redneck. This is the first Spyro turret minigame, but we don't actually talk to him for the minigame. When he just woke up the giant lilies, that cutscene is actually just triggered by talking to him, and then the lilies will appear whether or not you help them.
War cannons you can use. I'd do it myself, but the smell of gunpowder makes me...
So we used to use the lilies to get a light gem and for a quick path back to Moneybags.
You eagle browse my fine weather.
So now that we have at least 8 light gems, we can go back and activate the ball gadget.
Alright, Spyro, this ball gadget is ready to roll. Did you hear that? I just made a joke. Okay, Spyro, just step onto the pad and activate it, and the ball gadget will materialize.
The best way to describe this ball gadget is it's sort of like Super Monkey Ball, but with a dash and a jump button. So this ball gadget will take us from the Dragon Village to the third area of this world, Dragonfly Falls. one thing I forgot to mention earlier is that right now I have broken 6 of the dark gems. There are 10 in each realm, generally 3, 3, and 4 for the levels, but the third world's second level doesn't have any, so that's split into 5 and 5. And then the last world has 1, 2, 4, and 3, I think.
Spyro, if you've got money to spend, I am here to relieve you of the burden.
So here's the first place where we see a strong door. Those can be broken in 2 different ways. The first is with a cannon like this, and the other is with an ability we'll get later called the Supercharge Gadget. So far I've been trying generally not to get hit. We want to be at max health going into the first boss to skip some of his attacks. And one strange thing with these cannons, some of them just start lined up perfectly for what you want to shoot, but that last one, you have to move it a slight bit to the right in order to hit the rock. So here's the first place with swimming mechanics. They don't change much from normal dashing, except that it's 3D instead of just... you actually have to worry about all 3 dimensions instead of just 2 when dashing. This is one of the worst rooms in the game because of these piranhas. They may look like they're just for show, but if you get hit by one, you're very likely to get comboed and die by the rest of them in that small area. But if you charge into them before they notice you, you can kill them like the first one I did. Now that we've broken all 10 dark gems for this realm, we have to go back to the beginning of Dragon Village and beat Nasty North. When you see the HUD pop up, I'm pressing the Z button for that, and the main reason I'm doing that is to check my gem count,
How's my fine
because they're a little tight up until halfway through the second world.
As soon as it went everyone like I guess we had like going out to this
So in here we see the other dragon of about Spyro's age, Flame.
You've done it. The force field has disappeared. I thought I was gonna be trapped in here forever. This way leads to Nasty's lair. Going around his gnarly butt.
So inadvertently, Flame just told us Nasty's weak point. But instead of ramming it, I'm going to burn it because it's easier to dodge his attacks during that.
I need to get better at it.
So most bosses in this game follow a fairly similar pattern. Attack, you can hurt them, and it takes 3 hits to get through a phase, and then there are 3 phases with text in between each one. So my main goal for this boss is to get behind him right as he is hitting his hammer and getting it stuck in the ground, so I can hit him on the first frames possible. And for each hit, his attack when his hammer gets stuck changes. The first is a shockwave. The second is the 3 tornadoes, and the third one, he combines them. So if you notice right here, there's a little seam. The outer part of the boss arena will magically disappear after the first phase. So this phase is the reason why we want to be at full health coming in. This attack with the rocks is normally very slow, but by getting hit by one of them, we can skip most of the attack.
Anything with physics.
I've never seen that attack before. So when you die during a boss, it won't put you back to the very beginning, but it will take you back to the beginning of that phase. And also, every time you die to a boss, you get an extra butterfly, so you can see that one flying behind Nasty right now, and that will heal Sparks 1 level. So for this third phase, in the little windows in the back, there will magically appear amps. So now Nasty has more electric-based abilities. And the third phase, he will drastically change his attack pattern. The electricity coming off of his hammer when he hits it down at the end doesn't actually have any hitbox or does any damage. It's just there for show. So now that Nasty's beat, he has to have his little short monologue of him being beaten.
This time you really defeated me.
And then we will get our second breath type. So we started with fire and now we get electricity from amp.
Far and overcome great obstacles in your quest to save me.
Actually, I'm on a quest too.
So as a reward, I will bestow you some of my electric energy. This will give you the ability to breathe electricity from now on.
Wow. Is this breath even stronger than my fire breath?
In some ways it is, but it will take longer to defeat enemies. Specifically, it can be used to activate switches and power machinery. Excuse non-electric switches and or machinery that uses light gems batteries not included.
So after we get a breath type, the game gives us a little way to learn what it can do by forcing us to use it to get back out of the boss arena.
In the next 2 weeks, he has low 33. He's set.
So what happened there is when I jumped too early coming off of this platform, Spyro just decides not to glide.
He was natural, but he was also like, he just played way he cried for like 6-7 hours.
Well done, Spyro. You freed this realm from nasty gods. Right after you did that, this teleporter started working again.
Oh, a teleporter, huh? I think Moneybags already has one of those.
Yes, that's true. But he has a lot of technology. I put him to a whole new realm. There are mainly different technologies.
Yeah, and Moneybags teleporter is smaller.
I used to. Like, okay, go inside. Sit down
So now we are going to the second realm. Each realm has a theme. The first one was based around dragons. This realm is called the Lost Cities. So the 3 levels are this beach-like area called Coastal Remains, the Cloudy Domain, a city in the sky, and the Sunken Ruins. And we can see here Red does not deal with disappointment very well. He just kind of kills his minions when they don't serve him well.
Get out there and stop Spyro.
He was like, that's not every story except for I think he has one record on Shannon Jack said, he was in Dark Silence.
Spyro, I see you didn't say so that thing is the old system a thorough workout, eh?
Yeah, right. Like being sucked down a giant drain.
Matter transportation is still in its relatively early stage. But don't worry, you'll soon get used to it. You can travel back to the first realm from this teleporter anytime. Just step inside and activate it and choose where you want to go. Anyway, now you're here. The next thing you should do is try to find the Elder in the cloudy domain.
So the elder he is talking about, I don't even remember his name anymore, but we don't even talk to him because his ability is useful in one area, but it's possible to get through that area without the ability.
So now King Sonic's the only boring story. Gotta get it.
So here I'm going to Death Warp, so I don't have to go back through this room and the previous one with the Dark Gem. So this light gem is probably one of the slowest in the route, but there is no better light gem to get at this point, because we need 24 by near the beginning of the Sunken Ruins. But overall, we need to get 40 by about halfway through the third realm.
You won't believe what I just got in. You won't believe it what they're gonna buy in.
So this is a platform that's going to take us to the Cloudy Domains. So right now down below you can still see the coastal domains, but once you actually get up to the Cloudy Domain, it's just a cloud kill zone at the bottom. So that right there is the Elder's house for this domain, or for this realm, but we don't actually want to talk to him. He gives us the wing shield, so by holding B, we can deflect non-sharp projectiles. And these, with the boomerangs, is the only place where it actually could come in handy. But by carefully jumping around them, we can just do it without killing them.
I got a red safe piece of security. Like, let's reset now. Command base. Let's see, cool. I just lost it.
So with these platforms, there's no way to go faster, and we have to go in this direction to get to two of the light gems, or two of the dark gems in this level. What? Hero's Tale. A Hero's Tale. So right now I'm trying to collect a few more gems than I normally would because I missed 100 back in Crocodile Swamp. I just need about 700 or so in order to buy another key, which will be used in the Sunken Ruins, and a warp to go back to the coastal remains. So here we see Sergeant Bird, but he has a minigame. So after this dark gem, the intended thing to do is to go into that building that you can see on the left and do a ball gadget minigame to get back near the beginning. But we can just death warp and then head over to the closest war.
There you are, my favorite one.
Alright, I'm gonna do some attempts. Why not? 3 hours later, still grinding City Escape. Skip sucks. It's not even fair I did it. Skip is freaking easy. Yeah, it's just like... Okay, I did everything perfectly. Okay, I just got them on.
So here we meet Otto, the surfer. He wants us to refill his pool, but the only reason we do this, even though we have to already feel like halfway to continue is that by coming back, we can get the light gem that is behind him, and he will also give us a light gem for refilling the pool.
Like if I'm running it up, or you'd be one of like people that runs that.
So this first part for filling up is using the spin poles, which is actually fairly fast. The second part, though, is much slower, as you have to jump across platforms.
I did it out.
Over here.
So here the goal is to stand on the platform that's on the right as long as possible. And then when it reaches the bottom, it'll stop filling the gauge. So then we just jump to the next one.
Hey, Spyro, over here.
So this is one of the only two parts we actually backtrack to. The other is to get to new areas in the third realm once we have the supercharge gadget unlocked.
Here, dude. Take this as a reward. Thanks.
Spyro, over here.
So now we are heading to the platform to the sunken ruins. So this weird motion by Spyro is just caused by repeatedly jumping and then dashing. And it looks like he's just kind of hopping around.
fish are you? And where are your fins?
I'm not
So
a
this
fish,
is
dragon.
Lily the mermaid.
Wow.
She apparently doesn't get out of
Here's a
the
tip.
sunken ruins
To
very
get to
much,
these ruins, you'll have to
because she
follow the
doesn't know what
markers.
a dragon looks like when they seem to be fairly common.
Oh, a sea dragon. Got it.
So now that we have 24 light gems, we can use the second of the professor's inventions, the invincibility gadget.
Oh, hello, Spyro. This is my invincibility gadget, which will protect you from... well,
The only place we actually use the invincibility gadget is in this level here and one other time where we are forced to. And I don't think it's seen again in one other spot in the fourth realm, but that's it.
Spyro, if you've got money to spend, I will leave
I'm just getting the invincibility there right now because I currently do not have sparks. And those enemies can be annoying at times. One of the most difficult things about controlling Spyro in this game is after double jumps, if you press X too early to do a dash, you may instead do a horn dive, or if you try to do a horn dive, if you press it too late, you may charge instead. So this is the second skip. By using the hitboxes of the lamp, we can jump over to that area without making the spin poles appear. Appear. And doing that allows us to skip going through this green goop twice. And that switch which I just passed there is what you would normally have to hit in order to make the spin pulls appear on the other side.
Hey, Spyro, over here.
So even though I don't have sparks and he is normally the one to open chests, he will still appear for the animation of opening a chest, but then he will immediately go back to wherever he was. And that has never happened before. So I didn't land actually on the platform, and Spyro slid off. So I guess Sparks could still open the chest. I thought I had soft locked and I had no clue what was going to happen. But I guess Sparks will still open the chest when Spyro's down there, luckily. So these 4 switches raise the statue out of the green water. Even though you can see the dark gem there, it's loaded, but it's still under the water. And jumping into that water will instantly kill Spyro. Now I've broken all 20 dark gems. We are going to go beat the boss of this realm, in Neptune. You'll notice that I'm not worrying about being at full health for Neptune. And that's because at the beginning of each phase, we die in order to regain sparks. As with Nasty Nork and Flame telling us his weakness, and Neptune's weakness is fairly obvious, and the game gives you an even more obvious hint as to what it is.
You know, you're trying to psych me out.
Oh, I guess I just assumed dragons were tiny. You know, I spend all my time in the water, so I don't get to see a lot of dragons.
So Neptune's main attack is to spray the poisonous water. And after each time she does that, you get a chance to attack her. In order to speed up the fight a little bit, you can jump around her and land back on the platform, so you can attack immediately when her animation is done. But if you jump too early, which I'm doing, she will attack you and kill you in the water. I'm only going to be attempting that on the first hit of each phase, because if you die, it puts you back to the beginning of the phase. So you'll see that I just got hit by the laser there. Those appear after the first and second hits of each phase, and we get hit in order to just stop the attack much more quickly than it would normally take. So I didn't want to get hit by Neptune's water breath there, because now I'm at no sparks, but the actual reason is that we get hit by it on the third hit in order to just skip her water breath attack entirely. So now that Neptune's been beaten once, she starts to learn how to properly insult Spyro. If you were reading the text at the beginning, Neptune was saying that Spyro is large for a dragon because she hadn't actually seen any besides Red. So now for the second phase, instead of there being one laser, there are two. Doesn't make too much of a difference. But if you don't want to get hit by the lasers, you can actually just jump on top of one of them, and then they have no chance of hitting you. That was Neptune's other possible attack. She just throws rocks at you. They're fairly easy to dodge. And Neptune laughs, and then you can just hit her immediately.
I can't believe I was defeated yet again by someone so small.
So since I got hit by the rock, I'm gonna play it a little more carefully and not try to jump around her. And also on the third hit, I won't be able to get hit by her water breath. So after the second hit, one of the two lasers gains a second level, trying to make it a little more difficult, but it doesn't actually make much of a difference.
I was defeated by a pygmy pipsqueak so tiny I couldn't even see him with a microscope.
Okay, see, now you're just overacting.
And as Spyro said, she tried to get better with the insults, but it just didn't really work well.
Oh, cool, another breath type.
And now that Neptune's bean, we get the water breath. It doesn't actually hurt enemies. It'll just stun them for a little bit, I guess. It pretty much just tickles them. And then the other use for the water breath, besides adding water to dehydrated foods apparently, is to spin the water wheels. So now we don't have a professor cutscene telling us that the teleporter is working. We just go to the next realm. So this realm is the icy wilderness, the ice world of the game. So Red is told the bad news that Neptune lost, kills another minion, and then he starts to decide what is he going to do next.
Yes, my other guardian. There's quite a few tricks up his sleeve that will give
His other guardian
a run for his money.
is a woolly mammoth. The woolly mammoth isn't actually a boss, but he does play a role in how the levels are going to change.
Now, here you are on the beautiful but cold, icy wilderness. You should head to the Ice Citadel and try to find the Elder there. He may be able to tell you where Red is.
Here we have Phil, the smart but kind of overconfident penguin, just too excited with his new security system. And it really isn't a very good security system.
Okay, cut to the chase. What do I need to do?
So, just activate all the electric switches in this area within the time limit, and the gate will open. It's actually as simple as that, really. Nothing complex at all. Maybe the Norks could have figured that one out, but they would have never been fast enough to do it. Do you want to give it a go, Spyro?
So Phil's security system is just these electric nodes throughout this area. They aren't very well hidden, and the Norks could have definitely found them, figured out what to do. And if they actually use like multiple Norks to do it, they could easily do it in the time frame. So the security system isn't really that useful. But probably the more annoying thing is that there is essentially nothing behind that gate except a light gem and a dark gem. And I guess Phil's wife, I forgot about her. So here with the ice, charging on it actually makes Spyro move nowhere, and you can only do small single jumps on it. So the water breath is fairly useless here. You saw that I just used the electric breath on the Nork instead. It has essentially the same effect. Okay then. So even though I just died, the gate that the switch lowered is still lowered. And I really don't like those swinging, I guess, spikes. They're sort of difficult to dodge, and one hit by them, if you're over the gap, will kill you.
Hey, Spyro, you won't believe what I...
So there I activated Moneybags' shop by going over it, so I can warp back here later once I have the other Elder's ability. And here we meet the woolly mammoth.
Must be Spyro the Dragon. Red, tell me to stop you.
Oh, fat chance. I've beaten bigger fatties than you. All I have to do is run around you a few times while I figure out your weakness. Then I just hit you 3 times
And Spyro just got stomped. And something even worse happens to Sparks. Yeah. So now Sparks travels over to the other side of that very small area where Hunter is practicing his bow skills without the woolly mammoth even realizing he's there. And this is now the one Hunter section in the game. It's very annoying with Hunter's, with how Hunter handles with the platforming. And there's just a lot of annoying areas in it.
But what if it's already too late? Relax, buddy. Spyro's still alive. I know, because if he weren't, we'd be going back to a previous save. Ironic.
And Hunter broke the 4th wall, which has been broken way too many times in this game already. So here we see Bentley, the only place he's in the game, and one of the only 2 times we actually see him.
Oh, hey, Bentley. Yeah, I'm just passing through. I'm on a mission to rescue Spyro. He's got himself captured. How you doing?
Some Yetis from the neighborhood chased me out of my house. I don't want to bore you. You're busy looking for Spyro.
Oh, cool. Okay, then. Are you sure you're okay, Bentley? I could go in there with my bows and arrows and get rid of him for you.
Oh, would you, old pal? I would be very grateful. My cave is through there, and I'll have to climb the wall to reach it. But you've got to be careful. There's quite a few bad guys who are very tough. If you get rid of all the Yetis, I'll give you a reward.
So now what we have to do is go into Bentley's house and kill the 5 Yetis that have taken over. So Bentley said he would give you a reward. That reward is the ability to continue in the game. He opens up a gate that's on the left side of him. But the other reward he gives is a light gem, which is fairly useful, but it's not the fastest one. So you'll see with Hunter, my main movement is this jump kick. It is slightly faster than running, and you can also kill enemies with it. So next to that last Yeti, I picked up an explosive arrow, which I used to create a little shortcut through Bentley's house. So I'm not sure if Bentley would be grateful that we made a hole in his house, but the path is there, so it looks like the hole should be there. He just never got around to doing it.
Oh, thanks, pal. Let me help you with that door so you can go about your business. Also, I meant to give you this for your birthday. Sorry,
Oh, yeah. Light gem. Okay, cool.
if you don't like it, you can return it.
Oh, no. I love it.
Yeah. Good luck with finding Spyro, old buddy.
So the reason Bentley gave Hunter the light gem was for Hunter's birthday, which was apparently a while ago. But Hunter doesn't really want the light gem, so he's just going to end up giving it to Spyro. you notice there that I got hit, I don't really care right now that I'm at no sparks, because I'm gonna get killed by these skeletons in order to get sparks back and make sure I can kill all 12 of them. So I died to the last skeleton, so now I have to kill all 12 of them again, which is kind of annoying, but that was completely my fault. So now that I've killed all of them, I am in probably the hardest platforming section in the game. There are these falling rocks, which are RNG for where, or not where, but when they fall. The ones on the left fall more often than the ones on the right though, so I try to jump around the right. Here we see more of the swinging axes, which will kill Hunter if he gets hit once. The bats in these rooms act sort of like the piranhas from Dragonfly Falls, where only one will target you at a time, but they are extremely difficult to dodge. This room is probably the most difficult due to those bats. If one hits you, you're pretty much going to die. So one of the most annoying things about this Hunter section is that the checkpoints are spread very far apart, and it is very easy to die near the end of a section. So these spinning bones, even though the platform they are spinning on looks like you can stand on it, you cannot stand on it at all. You'll just slide off immediately. So these little spider creatures are mostly RNG for where and when they'll stop and for how long they will stop. Now I'm going back to here to get the light gem. With these walls, if you're at the correct angle, you can actually jump onto them and then stay on. So now we are finished with Gloomy Glacier, one of the worst levels in the game. And now Hunter is finally saving Spyro after being stomped by a mammoth. Spyro somehow got to the Ice Citadel and is stuck in a cage.
Oh, Hunter, am I glad to see you. You think you can get me down?
Yeah, just hang in there, buddy.
Ah, very funny. Thanks, Hunter. Now I'm up to 5 red.
Hey, you want me to tag along?
No. I'll continue with you.
All right, then. See you soon, buddy. You look after yourself. Cool?
So now we never see Hunter again in the run. So here in the Ice Citadel, there is a somewhat lengthy side quest to get a light gem. The Ice Princess, who we will meet later, wants us to light all 5 of the boilers around the Citadel. We actually do the side quest because 3 of the 5 boilers will give light gems themselves. So in total we actually get 4 light gems from just lighting all 5 of them.
Alright, the next 4 people in our Mario Kart 8 tournament are Thomas Barstow,
Hey, Spyro, you won't believe what I just got in. You won't believe it, but you're gonna buy it. Hey, Spyro, you won't believe what I just got in. You won't believe it, but you're gonna
So that was the second to last place. We will actually use the water breath. The last place is the boss of this realm where we are forced to. So one of the strange things about when we get to this part of the game is that certain doors won't be locked by switches anymore. They will be locked by enemies. So by defeating certain enemies, we will actually unlock doors. And this is the last Elder Astor, and he teaches us how to wall kick.
Yes, I gave it to you. Require most of the skills you will need. However, there is one more skill you must have if you want to face Red. You have the ability to wall kick from one wall to the other. However,
So again, the Elder just tells Spyro, you now have the ability to do this, and he can. Not like the Elders are actually teaching him anything.
the wall kick. You must learn the telltale signs, not your ADD.
So this is generally what a wall kick area will look like. 2 walls kind of close together. it makes sense that you can just jump between them.
Hey, Spyro, you won't believe what I just got.
So you'll notice back there, I just ran over the Moneybags shop again to activate it so I can warp back to it in a little bit after I have all 40 light gems that I need. So here, I'm going to be shooting some of these chests in order to collect gems. Oh, with these gems, I will be buying the extra health unit when during one of the warps to the Icy Wilderness first area. So now, using this new path, I'm going to be going back to the Ice Princess to get the last light gem from her. After 2 fairly long text sequences.
Because it's freezing in here. Please, light the boilers that are scattered around the citadel.
Okay, I guess they weren't that long.
That's much better.
So she's freezing after we've lighted the boilers. We talk to her again, and then she's magically not freezing anymore. So now back here at the Supercharged Citadel, we talk to the professor twice, once to learn about the Supercharged gadget, and then once to unlock it. And this will allow us to go to the last part of the first area.
And breaking open strong chests. You'll need 40 light gems to power the gadget. Here we go, Spyro. The supercharged gadget is now available.
So the Supercharged gadget will allow Spyro to charge faster and then break the strong doors and strong chests. So now with this Supercharged gadget, we can charge up this icy slope to get to this dark gem and then the last area. Last part of the first level.
Go ahead, Spyro, if you've got much to say.
Hey, bro! If anybody signed up for the Ultra Street Fighter 4 tournament, we are meeting in the bathroom. We'll be starting this thing on Smart Team. Once again, if you sign up for
So with the light gem there, I didn't try to dodge it, but I didn't care whether or not I did get it, because I just needed 40 light gems to get to this area.
Spyro, if you've got money to spend,
Thank you.
So I've never played this one. I think the only Spyro game I played was on the PS. I don't remember which one it was. Which one is your favorite Spyro? Is it this?
I haven't actually played any of the ones on the PS1, so this one is probably my favorite. The fourth Spyro, Enter the Dragonfly, still follows the format of the first three. It just, for some reason, it wasn't as good to me as this. I like the open world, more exploring of this game.
Yeah, that was one thing I felt a lot in the Spyro games. Is like, even though it was, you kind of had like the hub world, it felt like you were being shoved along to where you needed to go next, really heavily.
Hey, Spyro, over here.
Ah, there you are, my favorite one.
So there, I bought the extra health unit, and now I'm going to, right before the mammoth, because I need the wall kick to get up to the last dark gem. So that guy there can be very annoying. If you try to just jump up immediately, he will hit you right back down. But if you wait for him to either attack or start laughing, you can jump up easily. So now with all 30 of the dark gems destroyed in the icy wilderness, I'm going back to the first part to go defeat the boss, which in this realm happens to be Red.
To browse my fine wares.
So when you were learning this run, what would you say was the thing you spent the most time practicing?
Probably either the bosses or just remembering the route.
Yeah.
There's 40 dark gems you have to destroy and 40 light gems you have to collect, and it can be a little confusing with where to go when.
I was hoping I couldn't come to this, but alas.
So Red is probably the most annoying boss in the game. His second phase, he can be a little difficult with trying to hit him. and it can actually glitch in a way that you cannot beat him without killing yourself. So this first part, he's trying to shoot you with ice. You can just repeatedly tap the control stick to the left or right, but not too quickly, and then you can just dodge all the ice. Another thing you can do is just hit it with the fire breath. I prefer to just tap to the left because it's safer. So in order to actually hurt Red, you use the water breath to move the boxes closer to him, and then they will explode on him. So the first phase is generally an easy 1 cycle. The second phase, you can do a 1 or a 2 cycle, but it is much more difficult. And then the third phase is generally a fairly easy 2 cycle. So in this phase, Red will summon these little creatures and then make ice fall, and you just dodge his ice shots as normal. But he will change it up with 3 ice shots soon, so you can't like stand still and you can't move too fast either. That is the one thing that makes Red more difficult than the other bosses. He will jump sometimes when you try to hit him with a box, and then you can't hit him. The easiest way to prevent this is to either spray him with water so he just stops for a bit, or to spray the boxes not as much so they just go next to him and not into him, and then they'll still explode and hurt him.
Will the boxes hit him if they explode next to him while he's in the air?
No.
So the jumps really are terrible.
Yeah.
Well, you do have a lot of fire in you, but don't think you're any match against my infinite power.
With the ice shots, in each phase, he will shoot 9 every time. So if you want to, you can just count them, and then you can know when he's going to create the boxes, or you can just see when he will stop turning towards you when he's shooting, and then he's going to make the boxes. So this phase is a little more difficult with health management, with these lasers appearing. If you don't pay attention to where they are in the background, it can be very easy to get hit by them. And then with each phase, he will create less and less of the explosive boxes, so he starts out with 5 of them, and then next phase 4, and this phase 3, which is the reason why it's so difficult to 1 cycle the third phase.
Yeah, 'cause those lasers speed up too, right?
A little, yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it at least.
And these lasers are the main reason why I get the extra health unit, because it can be very difficult to tell where they're going to start and when you have to start jumping.
Boxes remind me of the armadillo jump where
yeah.
throw the barrels at. It's a great, terrible boss fight.
So for beating Red, we get the last breath type, which the fairy comes out of his rod, which he drops. So now we have the power of Ice Breath. The one thing I think they probably could have done better with the breath types is that the water breath is not very useful, and then the water and ice breath are so similar. If you've played the Legend of Spyro trilogy, they changed the water breath to be earth breath, so to keep more of like a balance between the types, and then they each have their own useful times. So with the ice breath, its main uses are to freeze enemies and to freeze little jets of water to use as spin poles. And it's the main breath type we will be using in the 4th realm, so then we don't have to worry about killing enemies. We can just run around them or freeze them and then charge into them to kill them.
Wow, that guy is really deep throating that microphone, isn't he? This is all bass.
And we do have a limited number of first-party game controllers to allow Super 16 to not have their own controllers. Once more, Super Smash Bros. 4. That tournament will begin at 2 p.m. Please register as soon as possible. Thank you. 2 p.m.
So the last realm is called the Volcanic Isles. It is Red's headquarters, essentially. It starts off with the Stormy Beach, so essentially a shipwreck area. And then it goes to the Magma Falls, top and bottom, which are largely magma and lava based. Then the Dark Gem Mines, and lastly Red's Lair.
Are there any minecarts in the mines?
There are minecarts. There is one more ball gadget area, and you have to jump over minecarts that will be coming at you.
But no minecart ride?
No minecart ride.
It's barely a game without a minecart ride.
See if you can find a way into the volcano.
So what the professor was just saying there is that while Spyro is going to be going into the lair through the volcano, the professor is just going to dig his way down into Red's lair, which turns out to be not the smartest of ideas, because Red is strong, the professor is weak, and the professor ends up getting captured. So in the Stormy Beach and Magma Falls top and bottom, I will probably be jumping a lot randomly during the cave portions, because there are lava cracks like that one that are fairly hidden, and falling in one is instant death. It's not RNG dependent. I just haven't had the time to memorize exactly where they are, because the level all looks very similar throughout. And there I jumped too early.
Wow, you were really right. This area does look very similar. I took a step back there. That looked like the exact same room again.
That was. I had to go back to the previous Zoe checkpoint.
Gotcha. It's not, what is that, YS? That's the same room 400 times? Or Dark Souls, same texture everywhere. I hyper-reflective dirt. I never understood that about Dark Souls.
So here we see one of the most annoying enemies in the game, the little, like, lava men. They just float there, but then they will also throw fireballs at you, and that's the most annoying part.
Are the fireballs tracking or just a set path?
They're not tracking, but they throw very quickly, and they kind of can tell where you're going to go. So here is the last talking cutscene with someone, besides right before the final boss. This is Tina the hyena. Her house has been burnt down, and she cannot stop laughing. She wants us to knock these rock monsters into the lava. We don't. They're really annoying to do, and all she gives is a dragon egg. So in that area, there are the 4 rock monsters. There was only one other one in the game, and that is, I think, at the beginning, or end of Magma Falls bottom.
I bet the guy who spent hours making that model and texturing it feels really proud. He's really happy that there's 5 of those in the whole game.
And they have some of the most annoying enemy patterns. It's very difficult to hit them and then hit them off. And I believe they also do 2 damage instead of 1, or their attacks are just very quick, so it's hard to hit them. Here we see like the lava birds. They work pretty much the exact same way as the lava men, so they're just as annoying.
Those definitely aren't mold races, right?
They definitely are not.
Yeah, that would be a lawsuit waiting to happen.
Well, they did say at the beginning, well, what is it powered by? 8 power stars.
Oh, wow.
8 red coins, heart pieces. So, but this game was released on the GameCube, Xbox, and PS2. I've only ever played the GameCube version, so I'm not entirely sure if that text changes. I would imagine not,
yeah,
but...
That's interesting. I should look that
up. They're, for the most part, the same. For the old Any Percent route, there used to not be a way to glitch into Red's boss fight, but there's been like a wall run sort of glitch found that allows you to just like gain height on walls quickly. So you used to have to collect 40 light gems in order to get the supercharged gadget and destroy all 10 dark gems in Icy Wilderness. But after beating a Neptune, which that route does just by glitching into the boss, you go on the elevator up to the Cloudy Domain. But I found in the GameCube version that elevator actually despawns if you're like swimming in the air to get there. So here we have another small loading zone, but this one actually like makes sense for the location instead of just being a random platform going up or down. This is sort of like a mine elevator going down into the mines. Not that I know of. There's the one other rock monster in the game. Just run around him.
Goodbye, rock monster.
And here is the last of the ball gadgets. Although unlike the other one, this one is on a track, so it's more about...
It's pretty much a minecart ride.
Yeah. But this one is more about controlling your speed rather than like moving around and trying to jump around places.
Can you like take turns too fast and get knocked off the track?
No, you can't.
Okay.
And you can even jump while turning.
That's good physics.
Yeah. So those fireballs there, along with the ones coming up, are RNG for when they appear. They will always appear in the same spots. But I have not had too many problems with them in the past. And that's the end of the ball gadget.
Seemed to end sort of abruptly. It just kind of took a turn and...
Yeah. So now we are in Magma Falls bottom. So in this area is the entrance to the Dark Mines. Dark Gem Mines. You'll see that with most of these enemies, I'm just freezing them and charging through them. It prevents Spyro from having this little knockback animation. And then you don't have to worry about trying to get around the enemies either. One interesting thing to note is that in these loading zone areas like this one, so this is between Magma Falls Bottom and the Dark Mines, the game has a map where if you hold the Z button, which if you press just brings up the HUD, the loading zone areas won't actually have a map. It'll say unknown area on it. And also with the map, you can tell how many dark gems you have in each area, how many light gems, how many dragon eggs, and you can also check like what types of dragon eggs you have. So the dragon egg I picked up at the beginning was an ember dragon egg. So once I collect all 10 of them, I can change Spyro's skin to look like ember. There's also a set like that for Flame, one to unlock the Sergeant Bird, Sparks, Blink, and Spyro Turret minigames. Then there's also concept art and character viewer.
Hey, Spyro, you won't believe what I just got in.
Interesting workforce they have in these mines. Robots with maces for hands.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that'd be useful for bashing down walls, but the laser gun's a little questionable.
So those are like the upgraded versions of the original Norks, and right before the final boss, we can see why they are actually here. And these robots, it's a little strange that they have turret guns and they're protecting this dark gem while also shooting something around it. Yeah. But with those guys, you can actually only kill them using the lightning breath, the thunder breath.
Well, I mean, you saw they had pretty dead-on aim. Like, you fired like 15, 20 shots and didn't hit you once, so...
But with the second one, turns quickly enough, and there's not enough room on the right so that that one is almost guaranteed to hit you.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, you know, they probably graduated from the Stormtrooper School of Marksmanship.
So luckily, oh, nope, before this loading. Okay, that door does close. Never really bothered to check.
Everyone loves a good elevator ride anyway.
Especially when the bottom is this green goop that you can't actually go into.
I think after this run, I might just go ride the elevator in the hotel a couple times just for fun. There's a freight elevator too, those are always cool.
So in this part, you're supposed to freeze the water jets with the ice breath, but with those first three, you can just jump around. This one you have to just because there's two that would give you the height. And with the red platforms I was jumping across there, if you stand on them too long, they will just give out beneath you and then Spyro will fall. So this wall is a little strange. You can't just jump, you can't double jump up and then just go. You actually have to slide down a little bit, or Spyro will try to grab the top, but not grab the top and then just fall. So at the bottom it says Dark Mine there. Not actually sure why, because this area is the loading area for Red's lab. So it's kind of just telling you, hey, you are in the Dark Mines, now you're leaving. So the strange thing about Red's lab is that there are 3 different ways